Hi everyone, welcome to SKR Yoga and Wellness. My name is Sam and this is my YouTube channel. So today's class is for absolute beginners. So for anybody that is totally new to yoga and doesn't know where to start, you are in the right place. So we're going to be doing a hatha style class, which means that we're really going to break down each individual pose. We're really going to move nice and slow. We're going to give you lots of direction and lots of instruction through the poses. It's a good idea to have 2 blocks handy. They'll just give you a little bit of extra support and stability as we're moving through the postures. If you don't have yoga blocks, you can also use really thick books, or sometimes very dense cushions can work as well. So use what you've got around the house and we'll get started. So we're just going to start in a seated position with a nice meditation. So sitting either with your legs crossed or sitting with your heels tucked underneath you is totally okay. And right away you just want to make sure you're sitting right on top of your sit bones with a nice tall spine. And we'll just softly close the eyes. Your palms can rest on top of your knees. Just bringing the focus inward. And right away I invite you to notice your breath. Follow its path from your nostrils, in through your throat, into your chest, and try to send your breath all the way down into your belly. So we have really full, deep belly breaths as we breathe here. Let's take about 5 more deep belly breaths all together. Finished your last breath, very gently open your eyes. And we'll start off with a side stretch. So bringing your left hand down onto the mat beside you. You're gonna, on an inhale, reach your right arm up and overhead. And on an exhale, bend to the side towards the left. And just feel that side body stretch. Try to keep your right hip on the floor as we do this. And if your left elbow comes down onto the floor, that's totally great. And if not, that's great too. Just a few more breaths here, really breathing into the stretch. And on an inhale, reaching all the way back up to recover. We're repeating that on the second side. So taking your right hand down onto the mat. On an inhale, left arm reaches up to the side, all the way overhead. And on an exhale, bending towards the right, feeling that side body stretch. Letting your elbow rest on the mat if it comes down far enough. And again, breathing into the side of our body here, keeping that left hip anchored down into the floor. And inhale to recover, reach that arm all the way up and over to release. And we'll come onto all fours. So you're gonna set up with your hands right underneath your shoulders and your hips right on top of your knees. So we're not too far forward or too far back, but right in the center here. And we're gonna roll through some cycles of cat and cow. So on an inhale, you're going to arch your backs and your tailbone and the top of your head towards the ceiling. So we have cow position here. And then on an exhale, you're curving your spine, looking down towards the mat into cat position. So once again, inhale, drop the belly, lifting the gaze all the way up. Exhale, curving the spine, chin towards your chest, tailbone pointing down. Repeat About 4 more cycles, moving at the pace of your own breath. So following your inhale and your exhale. Your rhythm might be slightly different than mine, which is okay. And finishing up your last cycle or so. And come back to a neutral spine, so feel that straight spine. And then from here, we're just going to take our right foot, swing it forward to step between the palms. You might need to adjust your fingertips here. We're coming to a low lunge, so in this position, most important, you want to make sure that your knee is right on top of your ankle, so it's not pushing too far forward and we're not too far back. So it's right on top at this 90-degree angle here. If you have blocks handy, this would be a good place to use them. You can place them on the floor underneath you just to give you a little bit of extra support, or if you want to keep your fingertips on the floor, that's totally all right as well. But as we're here in this low lunge, you want to feel a nice stretch in the front of your left hip. So stretching out our hip flexors. This is a great pose to do if you're someone that works in an office or sits at a desk all day. Your hip flexors are probably a little tight, so it's really good to stretch them out. Take a couple more breaths here, breathing into the front of that hip. And we'll move the blocks once more off to the side, placing your hands back down onto the mat. Coming back to all fours, and we're just going to do that same thing on the left. So taking the left leg forward now, again making sure that that knee stays right on top of your ankle, and then grabbing your blocks or keeping your fingertips on the floor. Try to do the same variation you did on the first side, here on the left side. Once again, feeling that stretch in the front of the right hip this time. As we do this, try to keep your core slightly engaged, so we're still pulling our belly button in towards our spine. So my stomach isn't completely letting go here and keeping a slight engagement in the core, just to protect our lower backs in this posture here. And once again, we'll move the blocks up to the side. Come back to your tabletop position. And from this tabletop position, you're going to walk your hands a few inches towards the top of the mat. Tuck your toes underneath you here, and then you're just going to push your hips up towards the ceiling to find a downward dog. So in this down dog, you want to feel your tailbone reaching towards the sky, the top of your head reaching towards the floor. So we have a nice long back, long spine. We're not arching at all, keeping it nice and long. And we also want to feel that our shoulders are pulling down the back away from the ears. You also want to feel your weight pushing into your pointer finger and thumb mostly. So we're pushing our weight into our palms and relaxing our heels down towards the mat. And just breathing here. We'll take 3 more breaths in this posture. Now, on your next inhale, lift your gaze to come between your palms, and you're going to walk your feet up to the top of the mat. Keep your feet at about a hip width distance apart, and you can bend your knees here, let your head relax, shake your head yes and no, so your neck isn't hanging on to any tension. And you can just grab opposite elbows here as we hang over our legs.
You can maintain a generous bend in this stretch. And we'll release the hands back down to the mat. You're gonna bend your knees a lot and slowly roll up through your spine. So we're rolling through each and every vertebra, and our head is the last thing to recover as we stand at the top of the mat. So right away we're gonna come into a balancing posture. So this is called tree pose or vrikshasana in Sanskrit. So you're gonna shift your weight over primarily onto the left leg. So right now I'm standing mostly on my left leg, and you wanna fix your gaze on an unmoving point in front of you. Once you have both of those two things accomplished, you're gonna grab a hold of your right ankle, and you can either place that foot on the inside of your thigh, or if that feels a little bit too high, you can also place the foot on the inside of your ankle. So I'm gonna go for the thigh variation, but whatever variation you choose, stay standing nice and tall and bring your hands into a prayer position in front of your chest. Wobbling is totally natural and okay here. Try to fight through the wobble to find that steady balance. It helps me to imagine that I have roots, just like a tree, growing out of my foot into the floor, supporting me from underneath the earth. Trying to stay long and tall with the spine, feeling length in the front of our left hip. And if your foot is up at your inner thigh like mine is, you're gonna grab a hold of the ankle just to release it back down onto the mat. And right away we'll go to the other side. So shifting your weight first onto your right foot, locking eyes with an unmoving point in front of you. Then we grab the ankle, place it wherever feels comfortable, either inner thigh or inner ankle. And bring the hands once again to prayer position in front of the chest. Whatever position you decide to place your foot in tree pose here, just make sure that that foot never comes right beside your knee. So we want to avoid putting extra pressure on the joint. So we want to make sure it's either above or below the knee joint. And again, feeling like you have roots growing at the bottom of your feet, or your right foot rather, to keep you fully supported here in tree pose. You feel all 5 toes spreading into the floor. And we'll grab a hold of that left ankle and just release it back down to the mat. You're gonna take your right foot now, step it behind you, and then turn your body to face the long edge of your mat, and we'll bring our hands onto our hips. And we're gonna find a wide position with the legs. So we have hip position, and we wanna bring it a little bit wider than that position of the feet here. So make sure that your feet are totally parallel to one another and parallel to the short edges of your mat, so our toes aren't flaring out, but they're completely parallel. And with the hands on the hips, we're gonna inhale, lengthen the spine, get 3 inches taller, and on an exhale, hinge at the waist and fold forward over those legs. Come down as far as you can. If you need to have a slight bend in your knees, that's totally okay. And you can stay here, or if you'd like to add a little shoulder release, we're going to interlace our fingers behind our back and then just stretch our arms out behind us. And if you were in your shoulder extension, release your hands back down to your hips. And on an inhale, once again, finding that long spine to come all the way up to standing. So staying in this wide position, you're going to take your right foot and you're just going to spin it out. So it is now parallel to the long edge of your mat, and your heels should still be in one long line. And then from here, you're going to extend your arms
out beside you, and your palms are facing forward. From here, you're gonna tilt your hips towards the back of the mat and just bend at the waist to come over that front leg. Again, if you need to have a slight bend in your front knee, that's totally okay. Ideally, we want to hover this right hand over our shin, or if you'd like to have a block here to support you, feel free to do that as well. Either way, we'll be here for about 5 breaths or so. You should feel a nice stretch on the left side of your body. Try to make sure that your shoulders and your hips are staying in one line with one another, so there's no twisting happening here in this posture. This is triangle pose or Trikonasana. And on your next inhale, reach from your left hand to bring you all the way back up where we started. Bring your hands back on your hips. Turn that right heel so your toes are facing forward once more. We'll do the same thing on the left. So just flipping your left foot out. Once again, breathing your arms up beside you, palms facing forward. On an inhale, get nice and long. Send the hips back and tilt at the waist. Again, hovering over that shin or placing your block down on the floor, whatever you need here. Again, if you need a slight bend in that knee, feel free. We don't want to hyperextend or put too much pressure on the knee. And again, just breathing here. Feeling that stretch in the side body. And on the next inhale, reaching through your right hand to bring you all the way back up. Turning your toes back to face the front, hands on your hips. We'll just bring our feet back underneath us. Feet all the way together. Hands come by your sides, palms facing forward. Here we have mountain pose or Tadasana. You can close your eyes for a moment, just re-center your breath. Feeling nice and strong and tall, just like a mountain. And we'll open our eyes once more and continue. So we'll come back into that wide-legged position. And same thing, so same setup as before. We're going to turn our right toes out to face the front of our mat. And we're gonna bring our arms out to the side. This time, palms are gonna face down towards the floor instead of out in front of us. And then you're gonna bend into your right knee, trying to make a 90-degree angle here. So we don't want our knee to go too far past your ankle here. If you need to find a little bit of a wider stance, that's okay as well. So this is Warrior 2 or Virabhadrasana 2. Feeling that your shoulders and your hips are right on top of each other. We have a long spine and long arms in this position here. We have a deep bend in our front knee, and our eyes are looking towards the front of the mat. On your next inhale, you're going to stretch that front knee, reach your right arm all the way up and over, to just curve and arch towards the back of your mat. Again, keeping your shoulders facing towards the long edge of your mat. Your left hand will rest either just above or just below your knee. Once again, not pressing right on the knee. And on an inhale, reach to come all the way back up. On an exhale, bend that front knee once more. We're going to place our right hand on our thigh, reaching our left arm up and over, finding a nice side stretch here. So this is extended side angle. And on your next inhale, reaching that arm to come back to Warrior 2, to stretch that front knee. Bring your hands back to your hips and turn your heel. Let's bring the feet together. Just resting in mountain pose once more before we go to the other side. Again, re-centering your breath. And we'll go right away to the other side. So hands on your hips once more, finding that extra wide position with your feet. Turning your left toes out to face the back of your mat this time. Arms come out, palms facing down. Look towards the back of your mat, keeping your shoulders and hips totally square, bending into that left leg. So once again, we are here in Warrior Two, feeling long and strong. Again, making sure that that front knee is right on top of your ankle. And on your next inhale, stretching that front knee. Sending your right arm down, left arm reaches up and over to arch back. This is reverse warrior. I don't think I said that on the first side. Or sometimes it can also be referred to as dancing warrior, which actually I think I like a little bit better. And on your next inhale, reach that left arm up and over. Exhale, bend into that front knee once more. Place your left elbow on your thigh and reach your right arm up and over to find extended side angle here on the second side. And while we're in this posture, make sure that your left shoulder isn't collapsing in towards your ear, that we're leaving space for our neck. So we're really pushing that shoulder down and away from the ear. And on your next inhale, reach that right arm all the way up to come back to Warrior Two first. Before we stretch that left leg, bringing your hands onto your hips. Bring both toes to face front. And once again, we'll come with our feet together, this time facing the front of the mat, into mountain pose or Tadasana. Once again, shining your palms forward, feeling nice and tall, and re-centering the breath. Feel your feet spreading into the floor, and the top of your head reaching towards the sky. And now we'll continue. We're just going to bring our feet so they're hip width distance apart. So you're going to want about 2 inches or so between your feet here, just to give you a slightly wider base. We're going to interlace the fingers and flip the palms so they're facing away from you and push them up overhead. So we're finding this nice long position here. Make sure your ribs aren't sticking out and we're keeping our belly button pulling in towards our spine. So on an inhale, we're going to get taller, find a long spine. On an exhale, we're going to fold towards the right. And then on an inhale, we come back to center. Exhale, folding towards the left. Again, inhale to center. Exhale, fold to the right. Inhale to center. Exhale, fold to the left. We'll repeat this twice more, moving at your own pace of your breath. Exhaling to bend and inhaling to come back up to straight. And once you finish your last round, you can just release your hands back down to your sides. We're going to pick up our right foot now. So once again, transferring your weight all the way over onto your left leg, just like we did when we were setting up for tree pose. This time you're going to lift your right knee, grab a hold of your shin or behind your thigh, and just pull it up in towards your chest. So we're just releasing that hip, pulling it in close to us. It's a bit of a balancing exercise as well, since we are standing on one foot. So once again, we're trying to feel those roots growing deep into the floor. Feel free to stay here in this posture, or you're gonna open up your right hand towards the long side of your mat. So we're finding a bit of a twist. Reaching that right hand far behind you, keeping that knee pulling in towards your chest. And on an exhale, bring that right hand back in to meet the other, and we'll place the foot back down on the mat. Same thing on the other side, transferring your weight over onto the right foot, bending in your left knee, grabbing a hold of your shin or behind your thigh to pull your knee in towards your chest. Really allow your left hip to relax and crease so you can bring that knee in closer to you. Feeling all 5 toes of your right foot spreading into the floor. And feel free to stay here for 3 more breaths, or we open up our left hand towards the back of the mat, twisting on the other side. And on an exhale, bringing that left hand back in and releasing the foot down to the floor. Let's bring the feet all the way together now. On an inhale, we're going to reach our arms all the way up overhead, looking towards the sky, palms come to touch. Exhale those hands, reverse dive forward, bending at the waist, folding over your shins here. On an inhale, lift your head up, find flat back. So pulling our belly button in towards our spine. And exhale, fold once more over those legs, plant your palms down, walk back to plank. Let's take an inhale here. And exhale, bending the elbows in close to you, come all the way down onto the mat. Inhale, cobra. Just lifting head and shoulders off the mat. Elbows can stay bent, but hugging in towards you. Exhale, release. And push your hips back to tuck your toes and find downward facing dog once again. Notice if this downward dog feels different than the one from the beginning of class. Maybe you feel a bit more length and space in your body. And if you don't feel much difference, that's okay too. It's just important to take notes and see how we're feeling today. And we'll release the knees back down onto the mat, coming into an easy child's pose. So bringing your toes together, knees can come apart, just walking your hands forward and melt your forehead down onto the mat. We'll be here for about 10 breaths. So find those nice deep belly breaths that we had at the beginning of class. And on your next inhale, slowly lift your forehead, walk your hands back in towards you. And we're gonna swing our legs out in front of us, stretching them out. You give them a good shake. And we're gonna take our right knee, bending it in, pick it up and take it over to the outside of your left leg. And make sure that your whole foot is planted firmly on the floor so it's not rolling at all. So we want to keep our big toe pushing into the ground. You're gonna take your right hand behind you, fingertips on the floor. Keep your left foot flexed, and then on an inhale, reach up with your left arm. Exhale, cross that elbow over your knee, and find a twist, looking behind you. Really feel that this twist is coming from your navel and not just from your neck, looking towards the back. That we're really twisting our torso and our spine while we maintain length, while we're still sitting up nice and tall. And on your next exhale, release the twist and release your right foot. We'll go right away to the other side. So bending in the left leg, cross it over the right thigh, keeping that right foot flexed. Left fingertips come behind you now. On an inhale, your right arm reaches up. Exhale, right elbow crosses over your right knee to find your twist. Again, feel the twist happening from your navel, looking towards the back corner of your room. Sitting up nice and tall. And on your next exhale, release that posture. Release your left foot. We're going to bend both of our knees now, bringing the soles of your feet together, so let your knees open up towards the sides like a book. And once again, sitting up nice and tall, right on top of your sit bones. Your ankles can be wherever they feel most comfortable in relation to your pelvis. So if that means they need to be farther away or closer to you, that's okay. We just want to make sure that we're sitting right on top of our sit bones, and we find a nice long spine. And on an inhale, we're going to get taller. Imagine we're growing 3 inches. And on an exhale, we're just going to curve the spine forward and relax our forehead towards our feet. So you can really let the weight of your head pull your body forward and find a deeper stretch here. And really try to breathe into wherever you feel this most. You might feel it more in your hips, or maybe you feel it more in your upper back. This is more of a passive stretch in this class, so we're letting gravity do more of the work, and we're not forcing anything here. And on your next inhale, slowly roll back up through your spine to come to a nice long and tall position once more. And we'll bend the knees back in, stretching our legs out, coming all the way down to line our backs. So right away, we're just going to come into bridge pose. So you're going to plant the soles of your feet on the floor. Bring your heels in, just so you can touch them with your fingertips. And then just from there, walk them forward about 1 inch or so. So they're not too far away from you, and your heels are right in line with your hips. And so from here, you're just going to push your weight into your feet so that your tailbone and lower back lift up slightly off the floor, and then you're going to push even more to lift the rest of your back off the floor. Keep your shoulders pressing down away from your ears here, and keep your belly button pulling in towards your spine. So we're trying to make a straight line from our knees all the way to our shoulders. So push your hips up even more, try to get a little bit more height. Engage your inner thighs so your knees aren't splaying too wide. They're staying right in line. And on your next exhale, release your hips slowly back down onto the mat. And we'll bring our arms out to a T beside us. Just let your knees fall to the right. And you're going to bring your eyes over to the left. So just coming into
more of a passive spinal twist here. Again, letting gravity do the work as we close our practice. Inhale, lift your knees back up to center. And once again, on an exhale, let your knees fall to the left, eyes come to the right. So your right hip will lift off the mat here, which is okay. We want to keep both shoulder blades flat against the floor. So the twist is really coming from our lower back and lower spine. On our next inhale, lifting those knees back up to center. And we'll stretch out our legs, coming into Shavasana, or corpse pose. So really take up space. Let your feet open wide and your palms face towards the ceiling. Very gently close your eyes and once again come into that inward focus. And just let all the tension melt away from your body. So we're giving ourselves a chance to integrate all of that work that we just did in our practice. We will be here for about 10 breaths. So once again, I invite you to focus on that deep belly breathing that we started at the beginning of class. Sending your breath in towards your belly on the inhale and pushing your belly to exhale. Start to wake back up by gently wiggling your fingers and toes. Let your head fall from side to side. And at your own pace, there's no rush. You're just going to roll onto your right side, keeping your eyes closed, and then pushing yourself up to a seated position, whatever is comfortable to you. And in this seated position, feel your sit bones flat against the floor once more. Feel your long, tall spine. Feel your belly button pulling in towards the back of your spine. Taking a couple more deep breaths into the belly. And bringing your hands in a prayer position in front of your chest. Softly open your eyes and namaste.
Thank you guys so much for doing this absolute beginner hatha practice with me. I hope you got a lot out of it and learned a thing or two, or learned some new poses. If you really liked this video, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to SKR Yoga and Wellness. It really helps to support free yoga on the internet, which is of course a really great thing. Also, if you're looking to even further your health and wellness journey, SKR Yoga and Wellness now has a shop available online, which you can check out at the link down below. So be sure to do that, like, subscribe, and check out our store. So that's all for today. Thank you once again, yogis. Have a good rest of your day.